Good morning and welcome to Pitt to the Point. I'm Michelle Spiller.
And I'm Grace Lamberto. Pitt to the Point is your Emmy Award-nominated weekly one-hour news and magazine program that airs live from the state-of-the-art Pitt Studios.
Pitt to the Point covers everything from the University of Pittsburgh to the City of Pittsburgh, as well as national and international events, news, people, and stories.
We're back with your favorite segments as well as new features, including weekly live reports about all of our incredible University of Pittsburgh regional campuses.
We have a new segment called Crossing Over at Pitt. It showcases different departments at our school that Pitt collaborates with on the most innovative teachings in the country.
We'll be joined live by our affiliate college and high school partners to hear what's going on in their schools and communities. And of course, continue to bring you the most up-to-date news from the world of politics, sports, medicine, and entertainment in the city of Pittsburgh and at the University of Pittsburgh, all the way from Pitt to the Point.
On Tuesday morning, around 1:30 a.m., a cargo ship called the Dolly hit one of the main center columns supporting the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore.
Immediately after, a search and rescue effort began, and 2 were rescued, and 1 refused treatment, and 1 was in critical condition. The Coast Guard suspended search and rescue efforts Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. and began recovery efforts.
There was a construction crew on the bridge at the time of the collapse. As of yesterday, the bodies of 4 of the 6 crew members were still missing.
Baltimore's harbor is one of the largest for imports in the United States, and much of Pittsburgh's imports and deliveries come via that harbor.
An instructor of supply chain at Duquesne University spoke to KDKA. Wendy Sarapagalia said that the importers and exporters in the area are going to have to adapt, and the workers must be on fly and able to figure out how to get their shipments in and out of the country. So many folks in our area ship through the port of Baltimore, and it's going to be a huge impact.
She added that ships were being halted at the port, which is the busiest for cars, trucks, and sugar deliveries. The Port of Baltimore is still closed to ship traffic, and it will not be opened till the debris is removed.
As we near April, we also are nearing the 2024 Pennsylvania primaries. April 8th is the last day to register to vote in the primaries, and April 16th is the last day to apply for a mail-in or absentee ballot.
The Pennsylvania primaries are on Tuesday, April 23rd, and the polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m.
For the upcoming primary elections, Allegheny counters are trying to grow the number of ballot drop-off locations. On Wednesday, a 6th location was added to the Kane McKee Sports Assisted Living Facility.
Other locations include Carnegie Public Library of Squirrel Hill, South Park Ice Rink, North Park Ice Rink, Boyce Park, Four Seasons Lodge, and 911 Call Center in Moon Township.
On March 14th, Republican Election Board member Sam DeMarco sued Allegheny County Council member Sarah Imarato, claiming that Imarato overstepped authority by acting alone to authorize about half a dozen staff ballot drop-off locations.
Imarato claimed that the Pennsylvania Department of State had okayed the drop-off locations on March 18th. The disagreement has been settled. As primary season begins to wrap up, the 2024 presidential candidates are presumed to be a repeat of the 2020 election, former President Donald Trump and incumbent Joe Biden.
The former president is in legal troubles in New York. As preparing for his stand trial on April 15th in a hush money criminal trial, we go to political reporter Kayla Pennington for more information. Kayla?
Former President Donald Trump and his hush money trial case has been going on for quite some time now. But this past Monday, the original bond set at $454 million was reduced to $175 million by the state of New York. The caveat is that it has to be paid within 10 days. The infamous hush money case regarding former President Donald Trump has just gotten a little more interesting. The judge in charge of this case, Juan Merchant, imposed a gag order this Tuesday. This was to limit what Trump can say regarding in the upcoming trial of the hush money made to adult film star Stormy Daniels back in 2016. This gag order is due to the track record Trump has of lashing out to others with threatening and verbally abusive phrases. CBS News investigative reporter Graham Cates explains more about what this gag order entails.
This limits what former President Donald Trump can say in the lead about foreseeable witnesses in the case. So that includes his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, who's an ardent critic and who Trump frequently lashes out at. In the lead up to the trial, this should prevent him from making social media posts about witnesses like Michael Cohen, as well as members of the court staff or the district attorney Alvin Bragg's staff who also Trump frequently targets. And it's worth noting that in this gag order is also a limitation on what can be said about family members of all of these people.
But this past Monday, Trump and company won the appeal to have their bond reduced to $175 million from $443 million if they send it within 10 days. If the bond fails, it leaves his valuable real estate and other assets to be seized by the state of New York. Although Trump claimed on Truth Social through a post that he has $500 million in cash on March 22nd, $175 million is a lot easier for Trump to swallow. The gag implications and the stress of paying a lump sum amount in such a short amount of time will only add to Trump's campaigns. Back in 2020, for the 2020 primaries and the presidential election, Trump lost his own state of New York, and fast forward to next Tuesday, April 2nd, New York will have its primaries for the 2024 election, where Trump is probable to lose even more pollings this time around because of the swirl of chaos surrounding him. For Pitt to the Point political reporter, I'm Kayla Pattison. Michelle, Grace?
Thanks, Kayla. A week ago, on Friday, March 22nd, the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, announced she was diagnosed with cancer and is undergoing chemotherapy.
This came after weeks of public speculation after she went for a abdominal procedure. In a video, she explained how after the surgery, they found cancer and she was beginning chemotherapy. She also explained how her priority was her children, George, Charlotte, and Louis.
She asked for the public for privacy and support during this time. This comes after King Charles III was also recently diagnosed with cancer.
In Pitt's Public Health Building, there is an interactive exhibit titled Art Heals Pittsburgh. In the exhibit, it intersects mental health and the community and art during the COVID-19 pandemic. In Pittsburgh, it's highlighted.
We turn to Pitt Beat reporter Natalie Silverman for more on this exhibition. Natalie?
Art Heals Pittsburgh creators Sarah Baumann and Jessica Burke sought to spotlight the convergence of mental well-being, community, and art amidst the pandemic crisis right here in our very own Pittsburgh. With an incredible exhibit highlighting 27 local artists, the pair did just that.
Art Heals Pittsburgh is all about exploring the intersection of arts and health. It's exploring how art impacted the lives of artists during COVID-19 in this time where we were in social isolation, not around other people. How did they turn to the arts and what did that mean for their health, as well as how did it impact the health of other people? 27 artists came together with us to explore this research question.
So when we look at qualitative data, we do something called coding, and it's essentially pulling out themes from the interviews. And so when we were going through, we just found time after time people were talking about community. And so when it came time to create this gallery, we were like, well, if we're giving it back to the community, what's a better thing that we could be talking about? And so we decided to center it on their views about how art helped them create community by showing the art to the community in the same sort of way.
Mental health is something that touches kind of all realms of the documentary work that I do. It's important to talk about it. As an artist myself, to use photography as a tool for my own mental health and my own ability to share my feelings and thoughts through my work.
People think I'm helping them, but they don't always see that they have helped me. As I'm coming out of this long isolation, to start picking it up again in conjunction with this project, I feel like I'm ready, I'm strong enough to literally carry it again. It just reminds me of why I do what I do. It might be more important than ever, this little project I've been working on now, because in the distance, I think that we've all kind of thought about what we miss, and it's each other, and it's presence. It's the most valuable thing we have. Sorry, it makes me emotional.
The Art Heals Pittsburgh exhibition will be on display through May 31st on the first floor of the Public Health Building located right here on campus. This is one you definitely don't want to miss. With Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt Beat reporter Natalie Silverman. And now we turn to our medical reporter, Noah Dan. Noah?
Thanks, Natalie. A few weeks ago, previous medical reporter Aditya met with Pennsylvania State Representative Michael Schlossberg to discuss a bill he has in legislation focused on mental health in high schools. Let's see what he has to say about this bill.
Are proposing a behavioral health screening pilot program that would give money to school districts that created a behavioral health screening program so that they could better determine where mental illness exists within their schools. showed that that's where those screenings can be most impactful. It's also typically where you see more issues related to mental health start to appear. Again, that's not in an ideal world, you do it at all grade levels, but if we have limited funds, we want to target them where they're going to get the maximum impact. And I think that's where we thought that's where we could get it. One of the things I think that states need to do is create the general guidelines and then let school districts take it from there. Each school district can decide what questionnaire works best for them. However, what they do use has to be approved by the Department of Education in order to qualify for the funding. The way that we wrote the bill is the screeners have to meet minimum criteria in order to be able to potentially detect anxiety or depression specifically. I think there's something else in there, and I don't remember off the top of my head.
No worries.
But again, the thing about these screeners is they shouldn't be confused as diagnostic. So they could say that somebody has an elevated risk or shows signs of, but they're not going to necessarily be able to make a diagnosis. The goal of these screeners is to inform parents and school districts that a kid might have a problem, make a determination, and then inform them of available resources. This legislation is the floor. It's not a ceiling. So it sets minimum standards if a school district wants to qualify for the funding. But from there, they can do whatever they want that's, legal and appropriate.
Any concerns with this bill, even if it does get approved? Any concerns?
It's never enough. Like, that's the biggest issue. And frankly, the challenges are my greatest fear is a kid gets identified as having a problem and then can't get access to the help they need for 1,000 other reasons.
The bill is set to be voted on in the House of Representatives in the next few weeks. But in the meantime, if you or anyone else you know is affected by a mental health condition, please do not hesitate to reach out and seek help. You are not alone. For Pitt to the Point, I'm medical reporter Noah Dan. Michelle, Grace?
Thank you, Noah. The Pitt News continues to provide accurate and timely news to our campus and the Pittsburgh community.
This week, we will look at how students are resisting substance consumption on campus as the history of Oakland's bar, Hemingway's.
Let's take a look at their headlines.
This past Tuesday, about 250 people gathered for the Pitt College Democrats versus Republicans debate. The event was hosted by Bridge Pittsburgh, a local political club. During the event, there were a lot of topics discussed, including the economy, foreign policy, affirmative action, and more. On March 22nd, 8 acts performed at Pitt Factor to decide what band will get to play at Pittsburgh's Bigelow Bash on April 7th. The judges named 957 the winning band, and JR and the Woodpeckers were the runner-ups, in case 957 can't make it. It looks to be a fantastic event that you cannot miss. The Pitt women's swim and dive team recently traveled to Athens, Georgia for the 2024 NCAA Championship. There were 4 athletes present at this competition: Sophie Yandel, Claire Jansen, Mariana Osario Mendoza, and Jess Vega. Each of these athletes performed very well in their respective competitions to represent Pitt. The men's team is heading to Indianapolis for their championship, which takes place between March 27th and 30th. Pitt is sending 6 student athletes to attend and compete in the competition. Cameron Cash, Dylan Reed, Max Matiazzi, Daly Frazier, Stepan Gonkrev, and Jackson Salisbury will all be traveling.
Coming up, Pitt Pro Day was this last Wednesday. Stick around to hear from some of Pitt NFL hopefuls.
It's MLB opening weekend. We got to hear from the inventor of a widely used piece of technology. Stick around to hear more.
Time for your next adventure. No idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. How exciting.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
We are the University of Pittsburgh, forged in a blue-collar city with gold standards, where innovators, researchers, thinkers, and healers are always reaching for new heights. There is no limit to what we can accomplish when we put our minds, our hands, our soul, and spirit to it. Here, progress is always in progress. Hail to Pitt, proud partner of the ACC.
And we welcome you back. We're 3 weeks away from the 2024 NFL Draft. For many Pitt football players, this past Wednesday was the most important day they could have.
That's because it was Pitt Football Pro Day at the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex, Southside. We were there to cover every second of it.
We had two of our best there to provide wall-to-wall coverage of Pitt Football Pro Day. Pitt sports reporter Aaron Clark and our Pitt to the Point City sports reporter Donnie Blackwell are joining us now.
And thank you, Grace. So, Aaron, it was your first time actually experiencing and covering Pro Day. So what was your experience like?
It was so much fun. I had such a great experience. I do want to go into the sports field in the future. So it was so awesome to get to interview some of the players and network there, talk to some of the individuals. So yeah, I just had a great day. But what about you? Who do you think were some of the standouts for Pro Day?
Well, I think that our tight end group actually looked really well. Malcolm Epps, like his height and his size, I'm pretty sure impressed a lot of scouts. He had a lot of great catches. And my most outstanding player that I would say surprised me was seeing Phil Jerkovic. Earlier in the season, a lot of people were kind of confused on if he was going to stay at the quarterback position or move on to tight end. And Phil actually competed on Pro Day as a tight end, and he had actually a really great performance. He had a lot of great catches, and, you know, on the media, they've been talking about if Phil will get a chance to be a tight end in the NFL on the next level. And I definitely think that he deserves that chance. He had a great day, and it was just nice to see him back in the Pitt colors and around those guys.
I absolutely agree. For the Pitt side of Pro Day, it was a huge event for the players who have declared for the NFL Draft. They were able to showcase their talents in front of NFL scouts and coaches, hoping to earn a spot on a professional football roster. I was able to speak with AJ Woods, Malcolm Epps, and Matt Gonzalez about their thoughts on Pro Day and their own journey through the draft process.
Hi, I'm Aaron Clark, Pitt sports reporter, reporting here at Rooney Sports Complex, covering Pitt's Pro Day. Pitt's Pro Day at the Rooney Sports Complex started off in the weight room as players showcased their strength on the bench press. The group then moved over to the indoor practice field where players performed drills such as high jump, broad jump, the 40-yard dash, short shuttle, and 3-cone, showcasing their speed and versatility. The day finished up with position-specific drills. I also got the chance to speak to some of the players about their experience at Pro Day and how they feel they showcased their talents to the NFL scouts. So AJ, you were actually not invited to the NFL Combine, but you had an incredible performance here today. What do you think you proved to the scouts and coaches here today?
I think I proved that I'm worth the draft pick. Obviously, I came out here and was able to put together a really good day, showcase all my skill set and technique that I've worked on for the past 2 months.
And we know it was more of a difficult year for the team, quarterback struggles. You were on that offensive side as a tight end. So, you know, coming in today, what did you want to prove despite those struggles?
Well, just because we had struggles didn't mean we didn't have playmakers like Bud Means and Sebo Fletcher. don't get it mistaken. We did have playmakers on the team.
You're seen as a leader of this team. How does that change going from, being in that role to being a rookie in the NFL? How does that change for you?
For sure. I mean, it changes a lot, coming from somebody who, is supposed to lead a team to having to, kind of observe and know your role.
And how would you describe what NFL teams are getting if they decide to draft you?
Yeah, I would say NFL teams are getting a fast, physical corner that above all else loves to play football and compete.
What are NFL coaches getting if they decide to draft you as a tight end?
A good locker room guy, guy that's hungry, guy that just want to play football, a guy that's willing to do anything for the team to win.
We hope to hear the names of some of our very own Pitt Panthers called next month. And other Pitt football news, the team announced the date for the 2024 Blue and Gold Spring Football Game. It will be held April 13th at 2 p.m. in Acrisure Stadium. The game is open to fans, so make sure to check it out to catch the first real glimpse of next season's team in action. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt sports reporter Erin Clark. Hey Donnie, how was Pro Day from the NFL side of things?
Well, for my experience of Pro Day, I got a chance to talk with high draft prospects MJ Devonshire and Bub Means as they continue to impress the scouts from their NFL Pro Day and their combine performances. I also got a chance to speak with former Pitt player and current 49ers scout Dom DeSico and former wide receiver coach Tyquan Underwood as they came back to visit Pitt and some of their new threads.
I'm Donnie Blackwell, Pittsburgh City sports reporter, and today we are live from the South Side covering the NFL Pitt Pro Day.
With the NFL draft coming up, student athletes from all around the nation are looking for a chance to prove themselves to NFL Scout. With only Bub Means, MJ Devonshire, and Matt Gonzalez getting a second chance to impress scouts after being invited to the NFL Combine, several Pitt players only had one chance to prove themselves at Pitt Pro Day. With several Pittsburgh Steelers scouts being in attendance on Wednesday, could we possibly be seeing a reunion of former Pitt athletes joining the Pittsburgh Steelers?
What has your perspective been as from a player performing at Pro Day to being a scout?
It's hard because as a player, you work your whole life to have this opportunity to go to the NFL, and as a scout, you see it so often, so you don't realize how big of an opportunity it is for the players each time because these kids played football their whole life, and it could be coming to a close or it could be starting a new chapter. So I guess just being open-minded to where they're at in their journey.
Take us through the journey of being a transfer from a small school at Louisiana Tech, and now you're a top prospect in the NFL draft today.
A lot of hard-fought nights, a lot of hard workouts, but I'm grateful for everything that I've been through, grateful for all the coaches that I've got to experience.
Plenty of scouts and teams were impressed by your performance at the Combine. What could you say any team could expect from you?
I mean, I'm just going to show up every day, willing to work, great teammate, humble, great person.
What was your mission to prove to scouts in the Combine that you were a quality receiver?
So I just went out there and did what I do every day. It was another day at the park for me. I just went out there and showed the scouts and the teams what I could do.
How do you feel seeing a guy such as Bub Means prepare to complete his dreams, and you got to see him perform today? So what are your emotions towards him alone?
I was fortunate enough to coach him over the last two, and great leader, great work ethic, great person, and to see him finally be this close to his dream playing in the National Football League, it's unbelievable.
Hey, can we see an upcoming Patriots workout with Bub Means coming soon?
Hey, you never know how this thing plays out. I would love for the opportunity to coach him again. We're just evaluating all the guys in this class. I know him personally, so it hits a little different. I know his mental makeup. I know who he is as a person, so I'll be able to convey that to the scouts, to the GM.
Your versatility, not only being a corner, but also a punt returner. How have many teams shown any interest in your abilities other than, being on the defensive side of the ball?
Just being able to showcase how well I can move and different things I can do with the ball in my hands and scoring touchdowns.
You are from the Aliquippa area, and there has been this major TikTok going viral about what's in the Aliquippa water.
It's just something in that Quip water.
So how does it feel to know that you are going to continue and add on to the legacy of Aliquippa athletes being in the NFL?
It's great. It's definitely something in our water. It hit different. I don't really know what it is. We can't tell you, but it's definitely something in our water.
To see where our former Panthers will end up, the NFL Draft will take place on April 25th through the 27th in Detroit, Michigan. The Steelers are on the board with pick number 20. Could we be seeing our top corner, MJ Devonshire, staying next door? As sources say, Devonshire had a pre-draft visit with the team earlier this week. With all the big moves the Steelers have been making so far in the offseason and free agency, I'm pretty sure they will be making even bigger steps to protect our newest assets in Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and possibly making some room for our corner, MJ Devonshire. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Sports reporter Donnie Blackwell. Grace, Michelle.
Thanks, Donnie and Aaron. The City Stadium Thursday to sell a large section of land next to PNC Park to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
The Pirates plan to turn that land into 30,000 square foot plaza, which will have, among other things, a 916 square foot LED screen to show Pirates games and other events.
The land that the Pirates will be buying is at the corner of Mazeroski Way and the General Robinson Street. An apartment complex near the section of land is under construction and almost complete. The ground floor of that complex will house a restaurant that will be open in the plaza.
The Pirates and Steelers have an option agreement for development projects on the land where Three Rivers Stadium once stood, and the sale is a continuation of that project.
Talk about a great start to the season. Our Buccos started up the 2024 season with an exciting 12-inning game over the Marlins of Miami.
Next Friday, the Pirates are back in town for their home opener against the Baltimore Orioles. The game is scheduled to start at 4 p.m.
On Saturday, April 6th, the Pirates and the Orioles play the second game of their 3-game series at 4 p.m.
Sunday's game time is 1:30. Then the Detroit Tigers are in town for a 2-game series on Monday and Tuesday. Monday's game is at 6:40, while Tuesday's game starts at 12:30 in the afternoon.
Major League Baseball has undergone a number of changes in the past couple of years, hoping to speed up the game.
One of those changes has transformed what used to be a tried and true way of relaying what pitches could be thrown.
Our Pitt to the Point business and tech reporter, Isabella Romeo, has a very special guest joining her today. Isabella?
This device that was recently inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame was invented by PitchCom Sports and is used as a communication device that transmits pitching signals. The idea of this device was sparked when the Houston Astros were accused of cheating back in 2017, later becoming a scandal in 2019. With the 24-25 MLB season having already kicked off, I was able to interview the co-founder of PitchCom Sports and the co-inventor of the communication device, John Hinkins.
Hi, this is the PitchCom system. This is the receiver that players wear on their helmet, and this is the transmitter that the catcher wears, or in college, the coach uses. So I'm going to turn it on, and you'll hear it say, 1 hour. Tell us how much battery life there is. And now to call a pitch and a location, we simply press a button.
4-seam fastball, high middle. Change up, high right.
And if we want to call a specialty play,
pick off second. Cutter, high right. Slider, middle left. Wheel play. Pick off third. Bunt play 2.
so that's how it works. It's super lightweight. This is only weighs 1 ounce. And this is worn on the shin guard of the catcher typically. So that's the PitchCom system in a nutshell. I had retired from being an attorney after 28 years and decided to become a mind reader on stage. Then the sign stealing scandal happened with the Houston Astros.
Right.
I sat down and I said, you know, some of the same principles that we use in mind reading could be used here. You know, where we have secret information that's passed along on stage.
Right.
So that's what we're doing, is we're passing along secret information, which is a pitch or a location, pitch location, to somebody who's 60 feet away.
Right. For your mentalism, do you think that the device would have turned out differently? How so?
I don't know that I would have come up with a device.
Right.
Because it was based on a device my friend had made for stage use, for controlling sound, actually. Because when we're on stage, you want to change the music. And so, but you don't want to do it in a way that looks like you're doing a magic trick. You know, so you could like click your heels together and there's like a magnetic switch and it would cause the audio track to change from maybe spooky music to more like a lighthearted music, but it would change audio tracks. Right. And so I thought, well, if he can do that, maybe he can have audio tracks where a catcher pushes a button and remotely controls the audio track. And that's how that came about. So if I wasn't doing magic or mind reading or mentalism, I don't know that I would have come up with it. We're in most of the major colleges now. At first, last year, they restricted us from using audio in the hats. The NCAA, in its wisdom, decided that we couldn't use audio, so we had to create a wristband.
Right.
And so with a wrist display, it's pretty cool, actually. So it's the same thing, same system. They press 2 buttons and you'll see pitch and location. Do you want to see it?
Sure, yeah.
Let me see if I got one working here. Baseball glove. And so this is a transmitter. And if you press like 1 for fastball and this, you'll see.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Doing it one way for 150 years. And now it's completely changed.
There been any specific ways you have thought of improving, or is there any way that it can be improved, the device in any way?
We constantly look to improve it. We're looking about making it smaller. We're looking about making it more powerful, longer range, even though now it goes like 800 feet, which is more than enough in a baseball stadium. We're looking at adding certain things I can't talk about, so certain features. But yeah, we have engineers on staff who look to improve.
For the people who have wanted to start their own tech companies and inventions, what advice would you give them?
Do your research. Before we did this, I did a lot of research on the ways to provide signals. But I was also a patent attorney, and I had worked, on probably 10,000 patent applications. So I had a lot of experience with how people solve things, and then how you put that into practice. That's the biggest thing. Is everybody thinks they've solved a problem, but if you really need to look and see what they need, what the customer needs. Somebody who I was connected to somebody who had been an MLB lawyer but like 8 or 9 years ago, but he still had a few contacts, and we pushed through for 9 months and then finally got the invitation.
Thanks to John and his colleagues, Major League Baseball now welcomes the integration of technology and communication. Pitchcom Sports will most definitely be the MVP this baseball season. Grace, Michelle?
Thank you, Isabella. Each week, we take a look at a different club here on campus. This week, we're taking a look at one that me and Michelle are actually a part of.
That's right, Grace. You're talking to the Vice President of International Affairs of the Broadcasting Club at Pitt. We recently just did a 10-hour live stream of the Pitt Dance Marathon. Take a look.
So Broadcasting Club is a club here at Pitt for broadcasting students or just people who are interested in broadcasting to make their way into the broadcasting industry. To me, this is a place where I can hone my skills, become more of a professional, and also help other students who are interested in something like this to also build up their resume and hopefully for getting jobs in the future. We just finished the 10.5-hour Pitt Dance Marathon broadcast. We do that every year. And last semester we did a club hockey live stream, and we have the red carpet show for the Panther Choice Awards coming up, which is really exciting.
One of my favorite things about the club is honestly the friends you make. Mel and I are very close, but we made so many friends throughout this year through the club. Because it's the same people that go to all these events who also want to do a lot for their careers and to push themselves to do things that they didn't really think they would be able to do or they wouldn't think they know how to do. But yeah, I really hope that more people are interested in joining broadcasting. And honestly, if they're too scared to get into it because they're not really sure what it entails, I hope they still join the club because I think this is a great place to learn and get new opportunities and get new experiences in this industry, especially in a city like Pittsburgh. There's so much to film and there's so much to talk about. So Broadcasting Club is really important to have.
Way back in the day, it was a big deal when Aerosmith and Run DMC paired up to perform Walk This Way.
Now, the latest crossover artist may really surprise you, and it was a who's who of writers descending on Pittsburgh. We'll take you there to check it out.
And Pittsburgh's title of the City of Champions is alive and well, especially when it comes to certain kinds of food. This story is a slice of bliss. You don't want to miss it.
In a few moments, you are going to participate in our formal convocation ceremony, and it will be the official beginning of your Pitt journey. Academic traditions have a long history, and with this ceremony, you will become part of that history.
Most are on the couch.
And welcome back. Grace, what's our weekend weather looking like?
Well, Michelle, it's looking like a typically pretty rainy weekend here in Pittsburgh. Nothing too crazy for this area. I think I might spend most of my weekend on the couch watching Love Island.
Yeah, me too. I get that. I get that.
We have a new segment called Crossing Over at Pitt. It showcases how different departments and schools at Pitt collaborate on the most innovative teaching in the country.
This week's Crossing Over at Pitt is one of the most impressive examples of collaborations that exist at the University of Pittsburgh.
My name is Corey Flynn. I am Program Manager for the Office of Sustainability for the Health Sciences. I'm also an instructor in the Geology and Environmental Sciences Department. I act as a faculty advisor alongside Dr. Kevin Bell, who is an assistant professor in bioengineering, for a summer research project in the Mascaro Center for Sustainable Innovation, or MCSI.
I'm Paloma DeBella, a senior at the University of Pittsburgh, and I worked over the summer of 2023 doing pollinator research. During this project, I did flower insect tracking, seeing how many bugs came to and from the farm, to certain species of plants, certain flowers, all different kinds of pollinators and not just bees. And then I compared this to an empty lot just further down the road, same neighborhood, and seeing how different the outcome is.
The most exciting result from this research is the data that Paloma presented last summer on the importance of urban farms for the health of pollinators and the health of the community. We can use the data from Paloma's project to show the amazing benefits of turning those vacant lots into a garden that grows food, attracts pollinators, and captures rainwater.
I would love to keep doing this kind of research, to keep sharing with people how amazing bugs are. And I just wanted to highlight how important it is in big cities that we still need safe spaces for these bugs.
At Pitt Greensburg, it's almost time for their annual Writers Festival and Senior Capstone Book Launch Celebration.
We go to regional campus reporter Anna Park for more information. Anna?
At Pitt Greensburg, there is an annual Writers' Festival, and this year it was held from March 23rd to March 27th. It had a lineup of distinguished guests, including renowned professor Jay McCafferty, social worker Vesa Yankovic, and Pitt Poetry Series editor Nancy Kragowski. The festival also featured readings by Pitt Greensburg student writers alongside the invited authors.
It's been around 23 years. My colleague Lori Jaquila started it when she first started at Pitt Greensburg 2+ decades ago. And the only time there was a drop off during COVID. Obviously, there's everything stopped, so we didn't have it then. But then I started 3 years ago, and then last year we brought it back for first time since COVID. And there's a little bit of theme, and sometimes I think we're kind of just mush things together with the best writers we can get and call that a theme. But this year we wanted to get people who are outside of the academy, so not just professors. So last night we had Jane McCafferty, who's a professor and writer from CMU, and Nancy Kragowski, who's a poet, and she's actually one one of the editors at the Pitt Poetry Series. So we had kind of that perspective. And then tonight we're having students doing literary magazine reading for the campus literary magazine. And then Wednesday is our Zoom meeting with Vessa, who's the social worker. And also we're having Rebecca Schmija, who's teaches an alternative high school in upstate New York. She's going to Zoom in with Rita's. And then Thursday is going to be Rich Gagic, the bartender. So we're trying to pull from as many diverse backgrounds as possible. And usually, most of the writers are really generous to come to campus or Zoom into campus and really seem to connect with the students and really kind of help them out. We had a student, she's graduating this year, Mackenzie Benar, and from the writing program, she submitted to this literary journal, Trailer Park Quarterly, and one of the editors happens to be in Pittsburgh, and he saw her submission, and he's been to campus before, and he invited her to do a reading at the Bantha Tea Bar down in Bloomfield in Pittsburgh. So it's kind of really cool to watch the interactions and how people are willing to help out each other, and kind of the older writers and the more successful writers reaching out to the younger generation, helping them out.
For more information about the Writers Festival and future events, you can visit Pitt Greensburg's website. From Pitt to the Point, I'm regional campus reporter Anna Park. Michelle, guys.
Thanks, Anna. A local Pittsburgh pizza show brought home some wins to Steel City from the International Pizza Expo.
Our city beat reporter, Claire Donnellan, has more on this popular pizza. Claire?
Thank you, Grace and Michelle, and good morning. Yes, Slice on Broadway, Pittsburgh's very own pizzeria, won 5th in the Best Cheese Slice competition at the 2024 held in Las Vegas International Pizza Expo. I had the honor of meeting with Rico Lenardi, and he told me all about his amazing pizza and the art and the science and passion that he puts in. Each year, pizza professionals assemble in Las Vegas for the International Pizza Expo. The event includes 2 main competitions, one for pizza making and the other for pizza-related skills and physical challenges. The pizza making competition features 5 different categories: World's Best Cheese Slice, Neapolitan, Pan, Traditional, and Non-Traditional.
This year was the first year they did World's Best Cheese Slice, which is right up our alley because we sell New York style slices, cheese slices, pepperoni slices, things like that. But this was World's Best Cheese Slice. They went back to their pre-COVID rules to where there was rounds for championship. So the first round I placed first place, and actually a couple points higher than everybody else, which was awesome. And then I had to go to the finals, which landed me 5th place overall. So we have the top 5 in the world for best cheese slice. Like I was just making a plain pizza, which we make every day here, but we were testing, different temperatures of the dough, different hydration levels, what we call it, different fermentation times to get the perfect dough to compete with. And, it's stuff that we do every day in our shop, but we were doing it on a, real measured level. We pay attention to detail in our product, use the best ingredients that we can, and still keep it at a fair price. I mean, our goal is to have a New York style slice. When we first opened, there wasn't many slice shops, and that was our goal. We always talk about creating experiences for our customers. I mean, there's a lot of pizza options in Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania and the country, and we are now one of the top 5 in the country, in the world. However, it's still an opportunity to connect with people and give them experiences. We all have from childhood, our favorite place we used to go in a memory, and that's what we want to create with our customers. Everyone has different tastes, and everyone's very defensive in Pittsburgh about their shop, and I love that. I mean, that's what makes it fun. But to the point to where our focus was trying to be a New York style pizza. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh, and we say New York style yins are made.
Thank you again to Rico. It was really great to meet him. And now, Michelle and Grace, I hope you're hungry because I brought the award-winning pizza right here, and we're going to try it live in the studio.
I'm so excited.
We are enjoying it college kid style, fresh out of the fridge, really good leftovers. But honestly, there's nothing like a good cold slice of pizza.
This is so good, Claire. I don't know if you know this, but I'm from New York, actually. Oh, wow. So I like to think I'm a professional when it comes to pizza, and this definitely surpassed my expectations.
Yeah, I may not be from New York, but this is a really good slice of pizza.
I really liked the cheese to sauce ratio because I'm not a huge fan of sauce, but this was really perfect. I think it was spot on.
A lot of pizza, when you eat it cold, like it loses its flavoring. It's like really strong. It's very potent. You can like taste it.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of trying it in person in the East Liberty location for Slice on Broadway, and it was nice and fresh, and it was amazing. And the entire staff was so kind, always checking in on us and making sure we were enjoying it.
No, that's so sweet. Did you get to like go back and like watch them make the pizza and
Oh
everything?
yeah, we saw them tossing the dough, the works. It was amazing.
You should have gone in there. You should have tossed the dough up in the air.
And I didn't want to wake up the entire Slice on Broadway crew to make us a fresh pizza at 8 a.m. So we appreciate them making this.
No, this was so sweet of them.
Working. It's doing what it needs to do.
Wow, thank you so much for bringing us this pizza, Claire.
You're welcome. And what's your favorite type of pizza? There's so many different kinds, as I learned yesterday.
I really am just a cheese person. I'll do like a banana pepper every once in a while, but yeah.
Interesting choice. I'm like a Sicilian kind of person, you know. I like the square pizzas or like a grandma slice.
Well, I really enjoyed this cheese pizza. Thank you again to the Slice on Broadway gang. And if you want to go check out their pizzeria, they have several locations here in Pittsburgh. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Beat reporter Claire Donnellan. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you so much, Claire. Stick around to learn what famous Pennsylvania figure had a street named after them.
Country music is taking over the charts. We hear from our entertainment reporter on Beyonce's new country album when we return.
Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning, which, if you can imagine being here in this grand historic building.
I'm a time when I strive for the greatness, yeah. You can't stop me now. I just wanna get my family. We running up, we can't lose you. I walk a mile in my shoes, yeah. There's nothing that I can't do, yeah.
What do you think?
Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt.
Here, progress is always in progress. Proud member of the ACC.
We are the University of Pittsburgh, forged in a blue-collar city with gold standards, where innovators, researchers, thinkers, and healers are always reaching for new heights. There is no limit to what we can accomplish when we put our minds, our hands, our soul, and spirit to it. Here, progress is always in progress. Hail to Pitt, proud partner of the
Back. You know, Grace, I'm still thinking about that pizza.
That was a good slice, Michelle.
Oh, definitely. So last Saturday, Kirkpatrick Street, downtown Pittsburgh, has been renamed to Alma Speed Fox Way.
Alma Speed Fox was a Pittsburgh civil rights activist. Community leaders attended the renaming, including Mayor Ed Gainey.
Pitt to the Point shares gives us our congratulations of the family of the Alma Speed Fox and the incredible honor.
It's time for our Alumni Spotlight, where we get to learn about the amazing university.
Today, we learn about a recent Pitt grad, Shayla Princeton.
I decided to get my master's in social work and public health, and now I'm a pediatric social worker at the UPMC Children's Primary Care Center. On top of my 2 master's degrees, I was also working part-time at Western Psych. I really enjoyed the program. I feel like both social work and public health aligned well, and especially in the role that I am in now. I found that like when working at Western Psych, I was a little bit less supported, as in it's kind of a location that has less resources to support their employees. So it was a lot of like being understaffed, a lot of like kind of just flowing with the punches as far as like taking care of our patients, going on the fly as far as like scheduling, trying to run groups. It was definitely a really good learning experience. I learned a lot about like how to practice therapy. Children's Hospital, that was a place where I was like super supported. I had a preceptor who taught me everything that I knew. The location overall is just very friendly and welcoming, and I had a lot of people who really supported me. I'm currently receiving supervision from our behavioral health therapists to get my licensed clinical social work certification, and that'll eventually allow me to practice therapy on my own. I want to do therapy with low-income minority youth who don't have access to mental health care, so that's basically the population we work with at my facility now. So it'll be really lovely to just stay and be able to do both.
Country music is taking over. At midnight, Beyonce released her first country album, Cowboy Carter. We go to Jordan Sapp, our entertainment reporter. Jordan?
Right. Beyonce's first ever country album, Cowboy Carter, was released today at midnight. This is just one of many examples of country becoming more popular lately. Just recently, we saw Post Malone collaborate with Morgan Wallen, and Lana Del Rey has her upcoming country album coming out in September. It marks a trend of many pop artists going country. We looked at the rise in popularity of both country music and genre crossover.
Country music originally is born out of political unrest. These are protest songs. These are union songs. I mean, country music in America was started by free slaves. It's such a historical genre, and I think people kind of going back to the roots of what it means to be a political country artist.
I think that people are looking for something. I think that something can be found in country lyrics. There are so many wonderful stories told in country music songs. The lyrics and the writing in country music is better than any other genre, but that's just my opinion. If you talk to like old school country lovers, they're going to be like, this isn't country music. Oh, it's too pop. And I'm like, it's just what we like listening to right now. They're putting that bass line in their songs. And when it hits and you're like, yes, we like it. Why put a stop sign on something that we're enjoying?
People really, really like Zach Bryan and like Coulter Wall. And a lot of these people are also becoming famous. So I feel like we have like a pop country rise, which I feel like I said, if Beyonce was somebody who had already made country music, no one would care. But since she's Beyonce, people care. But I just think it's cool that she's able to experiment with genre. What she's doing is pop country. It's not like a traditional country. But I mean, if we can call Carrie Underwood country, and we can call Luke Bryan country, and we can call Sam Hunt country, then what makes Beyonce not you know what I mean? It's important that people are starting to understand that a Black woman has her rightful place.
Let's be honest, Beyonce's Texas Hold'em is a catchy little ditty. So it's like, you can't deny it. Like, play it. It's good. I wonder, will Beyonce do another country album, or will this just be like, hey, I can do it, so let's do it? We'll see. It's just about getting more people to hear your music, and when it can cross over, do it in both directions, from country to pop and pop to country.
If you're looking to get into the country spirit yourself, Jason Aldean just opened up a new restaurant on Pittsburgh's North Shore. And as for me, I'm going to have a great time listening to Beyonce's new album today. I haven't had a chance yet. For Pitt to the Point, I'm entertainment reporter Jordan Sapp. Michelle, Grace.
Thanks, Jordan. Coming up next, a hospital in Massachusetts made an incredible surgical development.
Every week, we have the honor of visiting Pennsylvania's high schools as part of our show. Stick around to see some highlights from this season so far.
In a few moments, you are going to participate in our formal convocation ceremony, and it will be the official beginning of your Pitt journey. Academic traditions have a long history, and with this ceremony, you will become part of that history.
Welcome back. If you want to find out more about the world of politics, medicine, business and technology, and more, log on to our website, pittothepoint.com.
You can read about the topics that interest you, and you can go onto our social media. You'll love the photos. Check it out at pittothepoint.com.
And I know you guys are probably scrolling right now, so make sure you stop by and check out all of our social media pages.
For a university show, I think we have every platform covered. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and X.
Oh, and don't forget Facebook at Pitt to the Point.
On March 21st, Massachusetts General Hospital announced the first successful transplant pig kidney. It was completed in a 62-year-old man who had end-stage kidney disease.
The kidney was a genetically edited porcelain kidney. The procedure is considered a major milestone in transplants.
We
saw the early stages of the new LCHS cafeteria.
More like a food court. This is another area that will transform the feel of the space to be more modern and to be like a college student college, which is what we designed it based on.
It was really cool to see how everything's going so far, and I'm really excited to see the finished product.
We are featuring students' projects in advanced woodshop classes. We have several students who are learning a craft and building custom furniture. Cabinets, tables, beds, and more, all made from hardwoods. Before students take their projects home at the end of the school year, they will be on display for a week in the library classroom during the Riverside High School Fine Arts Fair.
Here at Lancaster Catholics, Chess Club is more than just a club. It's a community of individuals who share a love for the ancient game of chess.
We'll be taking a look at the Riverside varsity baseball team. Last season, the boys were the first Woodbury team to be undefeated state champions with a record of 25-0.
What is your favorite part of the Best Buddies program?
Seeing the true relationships develop with our students and the other students in Montour High School.
We're lucky to have Montour, Riverside, and Lancaster Catholic high schools. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
And don't forget, Pitt to the Point airs every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on the University of Pittsburgh's website, as well as the Pitt to the Point website.
You can also watch the re-air of the show on Saturday mornings at 10:30 on CBSN. That's KDKA's TV streaming platform. So make sure you tune in. I know you guys are probably already scrolling right now. So again, make sure you stop and check out all of our social media pages.
For a university show, like I said before, we have just about everything.
Oh, and don't forget Facebook at Pitt to the Point, and don't miss anything. Now we have reached the end of our show, and we're so sad to say goodbye after our first broadcast together.
It really flew by today, didn't it?
It really did. I can't believe we're already done with our first show.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything here, so be sure to meet us here at the same time and place to hear about things all the way from Pitt to the Point. I'm Grace Lamberto.
And I'm Michelle Spiller. Have a good one.